Well, we didn't get the hot tub last night. Took too long to get the tub clean and filled. But today, we're gonna hot tub. I can't even remember the last time. I think the last time we heated this was prior to Memorial Day. That's how busy and how hot our summer has been. So this morning, we're gonna be tackling that stair opening. You can kind of see where the eye joists are open right here. And we've got a 6x6 post over in our post deck. I don't even know what it's called. Our boneyard that we're gonna use for that. And then we're gonna be cutting up some of the LVL. And we're just about finished with all that engineered wood. Maybe it'd be a good time to just take a moment and explain why we're using so much of this engineered wood. When you use engineered products like this, they're engineered for a lot of reasons, but one of them is for dimensional stability. That little sill plate, you can see it's kind of the dark line between the polyguard and this rim joist right here. That's what's called single sawn pressure treat. It's a one piece of wood that's cut out of a log and pressure treated, and these pieces of wood are known for being highly unstable. Typically, the treatment process leaves them extremely wet, and then they sit in a lumber yard in the sun and they just twist and warp and all kinds of terrible things. We took a gamble and we're using them for our sill plates. Our engineer called for a engineered product. Somebody's blowing up my phone. I'm gonna guess it's Alyssa. Yep. She got photos of the rendering of the house and she's super excited. So let me see if I can turn her off. Ha ha ha. We're using engineered products here on the first floor platform to improve the dimensional stability, strength, weight, etc. The timber frame will go on top of the platform. And let's go down and I'll show you kind of another reason that we're not building this platform out of timbers. I do love the sound of a crackling hot tub. Gonna be careful, this lid gets pretty hot. Oh, that's looking really nice. So we're using 3 different engineered products for the floor. So this is what's called an eye joist, and it's referred to that because of its shape. They use a veneer product on the top, which is your bearing surface. Your floor sits on this. An OSB, or an Orient strand board product in the middle for stiffening, and then another veneer product on the bottom, which is what bears across the foundation and supports and stuff. If you were to build the same subfloor out of timbers, one, your timbers would have to be either massive in order to span the distance that we're spanning, or you would have to reduce the span, which means you'd have to have supports more often. Like, say, here's your foundation wall, you'd have to have a beam, a beam, a beam, a beam to support those if you don't want to use massive timbers. These eye joists can span phenomenal distances without supporting, and while maintaining the deflection that's allowable or desirable in a floor. That's one reason. The other reason is these webs, is what they call this portion of an eye joist, can be drilled and modified without compromising the overall strength. Now, that doesn't mean you can drill them wherever you want. There are very specific limitations, but the fact is you can drill a hole through here to run plumbing, wiring, things like that, radiant. Whereas with a timber, it's extremely important that you don't drill in the timber, because when you take a timber, let's say the timber's 6 inches, and you drill a 2-inch hole in there for plumbing, you have effectively reduced that cross section, which is the face of that timber, by 2 inches. So now it might as well be a 4-inch timber in that one area, and that's all that matters. So it doesn't matter if it's 6 inches over here and 6 inches over here. Your engineering has to be based off of a 4-inch timber. So if you knew you were going to drill a 2-inch hole in here and you need a 6x6, you'd probably need to put an 8x8 in here, so that when you drill a 2-inch hole, you end up with a 6x6. And you can kind of see how that problem really compounds. Next, we're using what's called an LSL rim board. This is another engineered product. You can see that it's strands of lumber that have been glued together. And the advantage of this as a rim board is that it is dimensionally stable. It's not going to shrink and change much once it's installed. If we were to use dimensional lumber, which is prone to changing shape, and we attach it to the I-joist, we're going to get a really funky end product. There's probably more reasons than that to use this. I guess another reason would be this product is extremely straight, extremely flat, and it's not prone to change. And so when it comes to building a good platform, this I-joist combined with this rim joist are a fantastic pair. And the way this product works, your I-joists butt up against the rim joist, just like this. And the rim joist is what connects all of the ends of the I-joist together, creating a very strong box. And finally, we're using what's called a LVL beam. And if you look closely, you can tell that that's veneer lumber. So this is much like plywood, except it's much thicker and it's a very custom shape. We're using this for the stair opening to frame that. And it complements the I-joists well. Again, it's dimensionally stable, it's not prone to changing shape, and for its size, it is extremely strong. So combining these three engineered products into the floor and platform will give us a very nice, flat, strong, comfortable base. If we tried to do the same thing here with timber, again, the timber would have to be massive, and we would have no option to penetrate this for electrical, plumbing, anything like that. One thing that became obvious really quick to Alyssa and I during this build was that you can only focus on so much. I think we all have this dream, we'll call it a grandiose dream or an ideal dream, of what our house is going to be built, like how we're going to build it, what we're going to use to build it. And we feel like this process has been very humbling, and we've had to make some compromises. We had to kind of let go of some of our ideals. And one of those was that we were kind of leaning toward the purest timber framing. And we realize now that we live in a world of amazing technology, and we would love to build a pure timber frame someday. But for this home, practicality matters almost as much as anything. So we want to focus our energy on the timber frame above and not worry so much about the subfloor that's underneath. We want the subfloor to be nice, flat, quiet, comfortable, strong, all those things. And I-joists in this engineered product are a fantastic solution. Oh, I forgot one thing. These I-joists are continuous from here all the way to here, one piece. That's 36 feet continuous, and I think they can be purchased up to 40 feet continuous. So we don't have any joints, we don't have to deal with all that stuff either. And then there's another benefit. Because they're continuous, you can see that these bays are open all the way across. So our plumbing main is going to start back over here where there's the kitchen, the bathroom, the washing machine and all that. And it's going to have to migrate all the way across the building here and exit under this cleanout. We did that to help prevent backflow into the downstairs bathroom. We didn't want it to enter with the bathroom and then go in case there was a plug up or something like that, and we would flood the lower bathroom. If we were to do this with timbers, you'd have tons of crisscrossing timbers there that you, again, cannot modify. So a lot of times in timber frames, you see a couple of things: false ceilings and false floors. So they either build the ceiling down to give you a chase to run things through, or they build the floor up to give you room to run things through. I'm not sure yet how our second floor is going to work, because that's actually how our second floor is built. It's a timber frame with floor joists and everything. So it'll be interesting trying to plumb and do electrical on a full timber frame floor. I know we'll figure it out, but for the main living level, these engineered products are a great solution. They're not for everybody. As far as cost goes, I don't think you could produce the timbers that you need for this floor to the quality that you need for the cost of this product. I think the total floor here was around $4,000, something like that, maybe $4,300. And it's delivered and cut and raised in a day. That's efficient. So I don't know. We're not into that for the money. It's more the practicality and common sense. And as you can see, we use posts. That makes sense for us to use posts. That's something that we can do on our own better, and it has more sentiment than the upper floor would have. All right, I gotta go check with Alyssa. Sounds like she got some exciting news, and then we'll start working on framing the floor. Okay, we took a look at the good news, and we will tell you all soon.
You might see this good news in all honesty, maybe like 7 more videos.
Oof, that's soon.
Unless, but we can publish it out of order.
We could.
So maybe in as little as like, you might find out the good news before this video's live.
Maybe. Wouldn't that be strange to be telling you about a secret you already know about? All right, I've got work to do.
Okay, I'll join you very soon.
And I gotta go check on the hot tub, which is cooking.
Heck yes. Oh my god, I'm so excited.
And
Let's have a great day.
Yeah, and I can see the Bugaboo's absolutely beside himself with joy that the hot tub's going. The first challenge that we have is with this post. We actually got a Simpson base for it also, but I'm not really loving the Simpson base. I do not appreciate how it has no adjustability in it whatsoever. So if the surface it's on is not flat and the post isn't perfect and all this stuff, it creates a massive headache. And as far as I'm concerned, in that back corner, even though it's more prone to getting hit by a car, it's going to have framing all around it. The stairs will be framed, you know, there's gonna be a lot of other things there that will protect that post. And so I'm thinking, to keep things simple, we may just use a piece of pressure treat on the concrete and align that post where we want it, and we'll anchor the pressure treat, because it gives me a million options where to fasten to the slab and where to fasten the post, unlike the Simpson base. So I'm gonna do a little bit of measuring back here and see if I can kind of narrow down where that post is going to end up. And then we'll need to do some referencing to the photographs of our radiant and double check that we're not right over the top of a tube. According to our photo, our rebar is 12 inches on center. So there's gonna be rebar here and rebar here. So that means that there's a chance that there could be pipe here. So we're gonna have rebar at 3 feet and 4 feet coming this way. So that means that right here, roughly where this post goes, there is radiant right here, going like right through there. So the post base is pretty forgiving because on one side it's very narrow. You know, it's only like 2 inches wide. But the question with, you know, your rebar is that photo was taken prior to the pour. And you never really know if your rebar moved during the pour, because we had a lot of very large men running around on our rebar. So if our base was going to go somewhere in here, I'd feel a lot better. But being that it's clear over here near the rebar, where the rebar should be, we have to do some decision making. We have lots of room over here. I mean, according to this, there's literally this 12 square inch area. You know, anywhere in here could be drilled confidently. But getting out here, it's definitely pushing it, because if that rebar got nudged even 2 inches, it's definitely a lot of risk in hitting the rebar there, or the radiant.
Alyssa's here to help, and I brought breakfast. Now that it's a lot cooler, we're doing a much better job at pounding protein in the mornings. More important than working today. How's she coming?
Good. Oh. Nice and toasty.
Yes, I cannot wait. We haven't gone this thing in like 6 months.
It'll be nice to use it tonight. Holy cow. I think it's going to get stormy, and it's nice that it's a little cool today. Yesterday, this didn't sound that appetizing, except for after a hard day of work, so. Yeah. Let's set it on the timber cart here, and then we'll look at it. It's actually pretty doggone straight, so come your way so it's balanced. Yep, that's the one.
Let's see if I can move her to the house. Ah. go in?
Good. Well,
We can lift it.
Yeah, we'll lift it in.
Somehow, despite being super meticulous with our measuring, we're always off.
So 133, I mean somewhere in there. Like I said, 133 and a half. So if you plane like 134, you know, you're good.
Jesse has a lot of confidence in my cutting skills, clearly. He thinks I only need like an inch buffer. Something some of you might not know is that it's very common in new timber frame homes to hear cracking, and it can be quite frightening if you don't know what it is, but as the wood dries, it checks like this. And from my understanding, this does not sacrifice its strength at all, but it can be quite alarming. So when you hear cracking in your timber frame, this is what you're hearing.
That's the consequence of sitting out in the dry summer sun for, what, 3 months with no oil on it. Ultimately, you want to try to slow this process down. It's a consequence of the cells drying faster than the ligaments in the wood, and you get split. So we oil the timbers to try to slow the drying process down.
The ends of them, that is.
The whole timber.
Oh.
We only oiled the ends on these, but when you build a timber frame, before the frame goes up, it'll be oiled. And then we'll oil it again, and that's to force the moisture to stay in the timber as long as possible and dry very slowly. Because when you get that, you don't get this checking.
Yep, that's new. We've heard this one cracking in here.
This one's been popping and cracking because we've had 2 days of brutal sun, and that quick, that timber's already starting to check and crack.
And these ones are freshly milled. We only milled these like a week ago, right?
Yeah, they've been down for 2 years.
Oh, right, duh, okay.
But they're not.
They weren't
They're
exposed.
not dry. Yeah, they've been in log form, and so we cut them, and even this one, I mean, all of these cracks right here are new. Every one of those cracks was not there 3-4 days ago because of the heat. So we're hoping to get this all dried in, you know, as quick as possible, and we want to get an oil on these as soon as possible. All we can hope for is to slow that down. It's not going to stop. Looks good. Okay. This is larch. Okay. I don't even know, because this wood is dry, you may not be able to get rid of that.
Okay.
You could try to go much slower over this area.
I went pretty dang slow.
Yep. So that's dry wood for you.
Okay. It's a before and after. Very subtle.
How Mr. Hot Tub's doing? Well, Mr. Turtle says 116. I don't think it's quite that hot, but I bet it's close. That feels too hot to get into, that's for sure. So the first cut I usually make on almost any board is a squaring cut, just to make sure that we're dealing with a truly square end. And even on these engineered products, they're freaking close, but it just helps when you're building to have a nice square edge, I have found. What are you working on over here?
I was joking that we had like 15 belts and that should last for one beam. And now I'm worried that wasn't a joke.
It looks like
we went 1 foot on a belt.
It looks like a belt graveyard over here.
Yep. And they have like 5, 6, 7 belts left.
So
Getting really good at changing them though.
Yeah, so these belts we got from the estate sale. They were kind of just free, if you will. Had a ton of them, like boxes and boxes. But based on the, based on 2 things here. One, the apparent quality. I don't know what sun gold is. And the apparent age of the packaging. I'm guessing these belts are older than you are. I don't see a date on any of them. All right, back to work. I just wanted to come check out.
Good though.
It looks amazing. I guess if we have to use 400 belts to get a sanded beam, we'll do it. So somehow, that thing right there has to go across there. And yes, it is very heavy. Oh God, it's heavy. Okay, I'm trying to go on top of the buttress now. Okay. So we're talking about which side of the post to put up. This is the south side. This would be the east side.
Southeast, which means this is the top.
Yeah, well, yeah, if this was the top.
Bottom.
Yeah. So this would be the side you'd see going up the stairs with the chainsaw marks.
Or we can put this north.
If we put that north, this would be the stair side.
And the big
south side.
Would be.
Yeah, and let's roll it over and look at what would be the east side. I like the east side too. It's really pretty.
Right.
It's got this vein of white.
So I'd say this and the other side are the ugly sides.
I think this is the south side.
Really?
Yep.
The big crack?
Yep. And then this will be east and west because...
Okay, which now means that's the top.
Nope. Nope, that's still the top. All right, it's settled then.
Okay. Now we have to decide where to make
where to cut it.
Wow. Time to admire. Let's check her work. Oh dang, that's pretty good.
Excuse me. So a post is going to go in this corner right here, and that LVL there is going to shoot down from the middle of that I-joist, and it's actually going to be on this face, and there'll be a post in the corner here. And what you'll be looking at there, we have a little more framing to do down there, but this will be our stair opening. And our stairs will come down here, and a couple of stairs into the garage. Gosh, it's so beautiful. This tree was a neighbor's.
Yeah.
It'll mean a lot for him to come over and see this holding up our stairs. Yep. So I am ready to put this post up, and we'll have to kind of position it and then get it attached to that little stringer right there.
You concrete, did you?
No.
Okay.
we can't do that till the post is up, right?
Yep.
So we'll attach it to that little stringer, and then we'll hoist this big guy in place and attach him to the post. And then that'll help us to orient the base down there, and then we'll end up drilling the base once the post is already all set. We'll drill it and anchor it. Yep. Go ahead. Yep. Well, I don't know how, but we're a 1/4 inch high over here. Okay. I mean, we're a full 1/4 inch long. So we're better off cutting that down.
Okay. So
that's now the bottom.
So we're gonna take 1/4 inch off. It's right on.
What the hell? I know that the LVL is angled down slightly, and it needs to come up slightly. I can pop that LVL over there loose and adjust it so that it's level, but that doesn't explain, like, this is 133.5 clearly. That's 133 1/4, and it's sticking up 1/4 of an inch. Let's try something just because I'm curious. Let's set the post right here and go to this stringer. It's like dead on.
Really? Okay.
Figure that out. So it's super frustrating that that is supposedly Yeah, it's not level, so guess I'll fix that. Can you come up? You're coming up? You're okay?
Yep.
Talk to me.
I just checked the hot tub. She's warm. She's actually very hot, so this should be ready to go by the time we're done working on that. Got our post exactly where we want it. Now it's time for the monster.
Monster. We beat our wood into submission. That sounded terrible. Don't put that on YouTube.
So do you need my help like on the buttress or something?
What I need is, the buttress would be the best place for you because I need you to keep it on the beam while I position it and attach it.
Okay, is it long enough?
Yep, it's
okay, then I'll go up there.
Here to the end of this.
Okay.
Can you pull towards me just a hair? I'm trying to pull, but I don't have much pull.
Pull towards you?
Yeah, pull towards me just a hair. There we go, good. Okay, I have 6 inches I need to go.
Okay, that should be fine.
So roll it up. Okay. Yeah, let's get that centered on that I-joist and then I'll hand you some screws and you can toenail it in there. Hey, look at that. That's pretty
Wow,
close.
that looks pretty freaking good if you ask me.
It's perfect, but it's pretty good. This all seems good. These two just seem like they're climbing. Not enough for one screw anyway. The risk of doing that. You bury the head and then it won't come back out.
Yep.
Because it's just a difficult sucker. So these are actually going to sit in joist hangers.
Oh.
So it doesn't actually matter if there's a 1/4 inch there because they'll be sitting in a hanger. The hanger will make up the 1/4 inch.
Do you want to bring the hangers up here?
But the problem is that they're way too freaking high.
Wow, those black clouds came out of nowhere.
Watch out.
We're gonna make that hot tub extra good.
Yeah, right.
So the only conclusion that we've came to is that there has to be a slightly high spot in our beam. So we're going to create very small notches in our I-joist to create it level again. And that shouldn't create any other problems down the road, right?
The floor has to be level. It's got to be level.
Bugaboo, it's almost 5 p.m. Are you gonna do anything today? Oh, boosh. Hey, buddy. Oh. Ah, it's raining. The struggle is real. It's kind of weird to be getting rained on in your house. We're good up there? The problem was that there was crown.
You know, something was definitely fishy because I rotated the I-joist over.
Yep.
And it was like 3/16.
So did you stop notching?
No, I notched the sides and I did it. We probably could have rotated them. Maybe.
Okay, so we're good. Do I need to screw it back in?
Yeah, so those ends
I'll
need
go
to
do
be
that.
attached. Yep, and then we need to put the hangers on this side.
Okay.
And I need to double check the plans because otherwise I think that's pretty much it.
Okay.
We have an LVL hanger, which I don't even know where that goes. I'm wondering if it goes right there.
So you figure that out. I'll screw everything.
Yeah.
And then we might be good to go hot tubbing.
Say it. Oh, yeah. Say it.
Hot tubbing.
Say it again.
Oh, hot tubbing.
Oh, I'm ready.
Wow, ladders get slippery when wet.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Oof, I don't know. Wow.
So when I put this hanger on there and pull it tight, guess what happens? Pulls that darn I-joist right back up.
So, wow. I think I should put the camera away.
I think we should put us away because we're getting soaking wet in our work clothes, so we should probably just go sit in the hot tub. Think about our problems. Cue the drowning rain! Ah! Oh man. No point in messing around in our duck cloth work clothes.
House plans in time.
Right?
Wet, but
Good call.
Bugaboo, it's raining. Why'd you run outside, you goon? Bugaboo. Bugaboo? I think they'll survive.
Yeah.
House plans aren't legit. Wow. If they're not damaged by the end of the home build.
Everything we have is wet now. Look at this guy. Ah.
Time to go hot tubbing.
Let's do it.
We need to like check the temperature, make sure it's good.
I'll go check it while
Okay.
you think about what you're gonna do. I'm gonna go check it.
Okay. Well, that was fast. You're back inside already. Is it too wet out there for you? Bugfish. Did the rain get your tail wet?